here to stay. Cheeze is green and gold all day. Jordan Love lead us to the bay. Every game we find a way. Green Bay hustle, grind it up. Hit the field, we don't bluff. Touchdown dances, feel the love. Jordan's got that MVP stuff. It's time for OPE, let's go. Packers bringing that show. It's time for OPE, you know. Green and gold gonna glow. Lambeau Field, our sacred ground. Feel the vibe, hear the sound. Packers fans so loud and proud. Jordan Love, he's wearing the crown. Lambeau Field, our sacred ground. Feel the vibe, hear the sound. Packers fans so loud and proud. Jordan Love, he's wearing the crown.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Open Cheese post-game live stream. All of a sudden, I just got a frog in my throat, and I don't know why. I am Iowa Joe. That is Cheese Talk Brian Rago, here to talk Minnesota Vikings getting demolished by the Green Bay Packers. Brian, what did you think of today's game?
I think today, I always tell my kids to not run their mouth as much and let their actions speak for them. And I think that's what Matt LaFleur did by parading McManus out there for the field goals to prove to everyone doubting him that, he's not healthy. Well, could have been like 48-6, and here we are 23-6. You know what I mean? I think he's being too conservative at some points in the game, but overall, I think the Packers played good. I mean, their defense came to play. Their defensive line was nasty. I mean, Parsons, Wyatt, without Quay Walker, they played awesome.
The only thing I'll disagree with you with is I'm still not sold on Brandon McManus as the kicker going forward. To be fair, they were relatively easy kicks for him today, and he still almost shanked the one. Luckily, it cut back in, but that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. But yeah, overall, I didn't mind the conservativeness for LaFleur being that it's a short week and Jordan is banged up. So it worked for him in a way. Jordan didn't look bad, but he didn't have an amazing stat line for today. But overall, I think it was a solid game. Defense, of course, showed up. So you can't really complain about that. You said it, Micah Parsons, Devontae Wyatt, Isaiah McDuffie, Evan Williams making the big plays. So,
yeah, I mean, guys.
Actually, True North, they almost did, but if you remember right, they had to call timeout just as the play was getting set. So we almost had another Bo Melton end around.
Yeah, it was a good game overall. I mean, a little bit closer than what we wanted it to be going up to halftime, but kind of had to figure they're going to come out with their asses on fire in the second half, and they played conservative. They played the possession game. They played the clock. They won the game. I mean, that's all you need is to do what you got to do to win the game. But it was kind of predictable at times. Getting stuffed 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage on runs, and I don't know. Third and one, predictable. I mean, shotgun run. I mean, come on.
And, again, I wonder how much of that is just being, like I said, short week, banged up all over the place. I get a lot of it was predictable, but, you don't want to. I know this is still a game in the NFL that it was basically a must-win game, but you don't want to go out there and kill yourselves when you had to turn around in 4 days and fight another battle.
Right. I get it.
What's that?
I said I get it, but it's just, my thoughts.
No, I get you, and I'm just kind of bouncing back with you that, playing devil's advocate here for a minute, just because for somewhat I agree with you that I wish they would have done a little bit more maybe this is a game that you could have done a little bit more trickery stuff just to, because of the injuries, you want to get open the playbook up a little bit more because no Josh Jacobs, so you're having to rely on Emmanuel Wilson and Chris Brooks. Obviously, they're still going to be without Tucker for the rest of the year, so you're having to rely on Fitzpatrick, Wiley, and Musgraves. So again, hopefully, you hope that they would uh, open the playbook up a little bit more, but it didn't happen. But they still had success. I was looking at, I know you were looking at the stat line, but I was too. Obviously, Jordan, not the greatest game for him, 14 to 21 for 139, average 6.6 per throw, no TDs, no interceptions. And it's so funny that, and this is one of those rare moments that I agree with Christian Watson's dad, that Greg Olson must not have been paying attention to the Packers all season long, because Jordan has been handing off goofy-handed for a long time now just because of the injury he had going into the season with his left hand. So that had no bearings on the game at all today because he's been doing it all season long. When they needed him to come through with a throw, he came through with a throw. There were a couple of times that you kind of question, okay, what was that? Or, what kind of decision was that? And you could tell that he was a little bit more timid to run. So you got to wonder if that shoulder is bugging him a little bit. I know he said he took a couple of hits on it and he's feeling pretty good, but you wonder how much that's kind of bugging him too, because you notice that he was not looking forward to contact at all.
Yeah, I mean the one. I mean he played an overall smart game, like you said. He protecting his shoulder. I like the fact that they brought in Malik Willis at the end. To finish the game out. There was that one play where he rolled out to the right, where he tried to like hit open guy or hit a guy downfield and force it, kind of I think it was Wicks going out of bounds or someone going out of bounds when he could have ran and gained some yards. But I'm like, run it, why? Don't throw it, But hey, that's the armchair quarterback in me. So it's.
Well, and you also got to wonder, like I said, how much he's hurting. And if he's hurting, he doesn't want to do that, take a chance on getting any more damage to his already bum non-throwing shoulder. I'm going to throw this up here because Belton was looking solid. They were rotating him and Morgan out at right guard. It wouldn't break my heart any to see Belton take over the right guard position, just because he has a little bit more size to him than Morgan does, and Morgan has looked like a fish out of water at the right guard position. If he's supposedly your left tackle of the future, then cut bait on him as a right guard and just keep throwing Belton out there. It's kind of weird. I keep wanting to say Melton because we have a Bo Melton and then we have Belton.
Anthony
And
Belton.
so yeah, I keep wanting to say Belton instead of Melton and Melton instead of Belton. So but like I said, if that's the way they're wanting to go forward, don't stop the friggin' rotation. Just throw him in there. Continue to practice Morgan on the left side just in case you're wanting to throw him in there towards the end of the season, and then going forward after the season, because it doesn't look like they're wanting to keep Rasheed Walker in any shape or form. So just go ahead, cut bait at the right guard position, and keep Belton out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the best I think I've seen the line pass block in a while, or not pass block, run block, and with our backup running back too, who had probably, you know, he's my MVP for the game.
Emmanuel Wilson. Yeah, I mean, he definitely deserves it. He was running well. He got what he needed when we needed it, and you can't ask for a better game from a guy that has been a backup the majority of his time here. But yeah, I still want to True North saying I still want to try Bo Melton at Garter Center. with the way things are going, why not? I mean, you might as well get your quarterback killed that way.
I got a little fun joke to poke at Colano.
Okay, go for it.
What JJ McCarthy needs in Minnesota is what he had at Michigan. Colin Stallions, the ultimate cheater. That'd make a whole world of difference. It's it's funny that all that happened. Like he had like his best year of his career when you had whatever happened in Michigan, and then all of a sudden, I mean, I think today was McCarthy's one of his worst games. I mean,
It
he just
was.
looked. I
Go
don't feel
ahead.
bad for him. I don't feel bad for him. He's a Michigan boy.
I don't feel bad for him for today's game. I feel bad for him overall because he's in a horrible situation, and he that just the way things are going, he's going to end up getting run out
Murdered.
of Minnesota. Well, yeah, that too, but because now you definitely got the people that are seeing Darnold doing what he's doing over at Seattle and are already questioning, why did you not keep Sam Darnold? Why are we running with JJ McCarthy and all that shit? So like I said, I don't feel sorry for him for today's game just because the Packers won. Why do I care about what Minnesota is dealing with? But overall, I do feel bad for him because he's in such a bad situation. Now, the
And
funny
that.
thing is, I can't
Go
remember
ahead.
who said it or what. I know it was on Twitter, but somebody said, "What? Here's how you resurrect JJ McCarthy's career: you cut him so he officially ends up as a draft bust, and then you re-sign him so Kevin O'Connell can fix him."
Right. Well, no, and it's like you think about the whole Sam Darnold situation. I mean, just imagine if the Vikings would have, did the Packers blueprint and kept Darnold, extended Darnold, and had McCarthy learn a few more years under Darnold, but instead they wanted to quick get whatever, and it is what it is. Like they mentioned, the Vikings spent $300 million this last offseason for what, a 4-6 record or whatever they
Yeah.
are now. So I mean, that let Minnesota have it. They beat us. The last how many games they can suffer in their team's misery right now. Then they
Like I
talked
said, I
about this
have
offseason.
no sad feelings for Minnesota as a whole, but you never want to see a kid get thrown to the wolves like that. So the only thing I can think of is Darnold was wanting a long-term contract, and they just couldn't afford to give. Not that they couldn't afford it money-wise, but it it wouldn't. They wouldn't have been able to justify keeping JJ down as long as that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was looking at the comments coming in.
Oh,
Oh, the DB that replaced Quay Walker. Yeah, McDuffie had a good game.
he did. He had his moments. McDuffie has always been more of a downhill linebacker. You don't
Yep.
want him in coverage, and you could tell that a few times. Uh, I am really surprised, and ESPN has it listed as that. I wonder if maybe when the game film goes to uh, the NFL offices, if they'll change it, but they actually credited him as having an interception. I don't know. And I kind of questioned it after it happened just because, yes, he caught the ball while it was in the air, but Rashawn hit the arm before it was going forward. So by rule, if he wouldn't have caught it, that would have probably been a fumble.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's going to stand as an interception or if it will be a fumble. So not that it takes anything away. It was a great play. Rashawn did wonderful. I kind of a part of me is glad that it's an interception because I think that's McDuffie's first career interception. I could be wrong on that, but then the other part of me says no. I would rather Rashawn get credited with the strip fumble, the strip sack,
Yeah. I
just so
mean,
it shuts up some of this discourse.
what I was talking about too is Well, I don't know if I was talking to you about it on the last episode, or if I was on one of my podcasts about, once Van Ness went out, Rashawn kind of disappeared, and now that Van Ness was back, Rashawn was back in the picture, which means he's getting more blows, and Van Ness is getting effective playing time out there to give Rashawn the amount of rest he needs to get back out there and give it his all. So that was good to see.
Right, and I can't wait to find out. Usually, Pro Football Reference will update their snap count midweek or something like that. I want to see how many snaps Van Ness played, because I know they had to have him on some kind of snap count, because you didn't see him out there a ton.
Yeah. No, I saw pan to him the one time I saw that he was out there, so I knew he was playing. You know what?
Yeah, I know he played. I'm wondering what kind of snap count they had, considering, like, I hate to sound like a broken record, but being that it's a short week, how much of a snap
Yep.
count they had Van Ness on. So, but overall, defense played wonderfully. Held the Vikings to 6 points, so 2 field goals. Micah Parsons came up with 2 sacks. Almost had a third. Brinson got his first career half a sack. McDuffie with the other half of that sack. Evan Williams with the ceiling interception. And I thought he played well. He even had a tackle for a loss.
Yeah.
So, like I said, overall, this defense, it's kind of weird, because being a Packers fan, we're so used to having a lights out offense and a so-so to sucky defense. And this year, it's been the complete opposite. We've had an amazing defense and a so-so offense, and it's really weird as a Packers fan.
Yeah, it's crazy, and that was McDuffie's first career interception.
That's what I thought.
So, yep.
I know he
So,
played limited snaps and shit like that, but I didn't think that he had an interception yet.
what I liked as well today on both sides of the ball, like we were inviting the physical play. Emmanuel Wilson running the ball, Chris Bush running the ball. Um, they're looking to put a blow on the defenders before the defenders could put a blow on them, and even on defense, yeah, a couple of guys got passes there in the open, and we closed on them quick, and we were physical with our defense this game, so that was good to see. They're flying to the ball,
Yeah,
and
it was good to see that Halfley went back to heavy rush defense once Keyshawn went down. I mean, you never want to see a player get injured, but it looked like they started to use their pass rush more instead of the soft zone coverage that they had normally been to, because it. And I said it as one of my things leading up in my small review that I had prior to the game, that if you can get into McCarthy's face, he's going to uh, struggle, and that's exactly what they did. Did we trade Coach Bisaccia to the Vikings this week? This is one of the few games that you can actually say that special teams was bad, and that makes me wonder. Now, I did see a clip, and it was going around on Twitter as maybe we have a new assistant special teams coordinator, because Josh Jacobs was out there pointing stuff out and everything to the teams, the special teams group. So maybe that had a little bit to do with a True North, that it was Josh Jacobs calling plays and not old Richie B.
yeah, yeah. I mean, overall, it's a good game. The highlight of the game for me was, besides the victory, was the celebration they did after Evan Williams had the interception. That was classic. That was awesome. So
Well, I tell you what, if I can find a good picture of it, that may become a merchandise thing here in the next couple weeks.
I already made a GIF of it, so it's floating around.
Well, I think I have an idea on what I can do for have it on merchandise. So if I can find a good picture of it, then that could be going forward. Now back to the Nixon injury. I know they said it was a stinger, and and he ended up not coming back into the game. I wonder if that's a little bit more precautionary, just again because of the short week, and hopefully he can have a turnaround. Don't. At first he was questionable, and then he went out. He ended up going downgrading to out. So hopefully that was just, hey, we don't want to put you back in there and risk anything else because we got a game coming up on Thursday. So let's keep you out. Hopefully that's it, and it's nothing major. Same with Quay. I know Quay's was a stinger too. Hopefully him not playing today was just another way of saying, yeah, you could go if we needed you to, but we want you more for the Detroit game than we do for the Minnesota game.
Yeah.
Tyron Hopper got a few snaps today, and I thought he looked pretty solid. So what were you going to say?
No, I mean, obviously McCarthy is obviously he's like a little pup in the NFL, but I mean, having Jordan Addison, Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson pretty much go quiet. Addison had zeros across the board. He had nothing
Yeah.
all game. Jefferson had 4 receptions for 48 yards, and he just signed a big mega contract. Do you think he's regretting his decision to stay in Minnesota? Maybe, but it's just a credit to the defense too.
Yeah, I think it's more of a credit to the defense. Because what was it that they said that even though Jefferson's had a bit of a down year, he's still like top 5 in the league for yards and that. So I think it's more a credit to the defense than anything that they were able to get the pressure on McCarthy and not allow him to get, because Jefferson still got a few yards there, 48 on 4 catches, average 12. So he's still got a little bit, but I think it's more that the pressure was getting to McCarthy that he just couldn't do anything.
Yeah, it was good to see though. I'm sick of seeing Jefferson doing the gritty, especially against the Packers. You know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was the Jair thing a few years back when they held him down. But and what was it they were saying? This is the Packers have been over against the Vikings at Lambeau the last three games.
Yep.
So that's good to get back on the winning side of things with home field. So I'm feeling good about this game.
Yeah, so it's a good momentum pusher in the Thanksgiving Day game against the Lions, who I think
Almost blew it.
the end of that game, the Giants should have went for the field goal instead of the touchdown, and B, that last fourth down sack on Jameis Winston by Hutchinson was a hip drop tackle. No flag was thrown.
Well, there was a couple other things that I saw during that one that weren't called, so who knows? This officiating this year has been horrible league wide, and like I said, and then if you look at the Bears Steelers game, there was a lot of shit going on that last drive for the Steelers that didn't make sense. Yeah, True North 2-0 in the division right now. But we're getting into the heart of our division schedule. This was the first game in a long stretch for divisional play. So hopefully they can continue the streak on. This Thursday it'll be Detroit at Detroit, and if you look at things, Detroit had a rougher game than the Packers did today. So hopefully they come in a little bit more weak than what the Packers are.
Yeah, hopefully Goff was getting his ass kicked.
Yeah.
He's taking some shots. So let's see some more of that on Thursday.
So you've already listed your MVP as Emmanuel Wilson. I think just to have a different opinion, I'm going to throw Micah out there because Micah was a force. Parsons with his almost 3 sacks, 2 sacks with a couple of TFLs. I got to give it to him. Just like I said, just basically difference of opinion. Otherwise, I would definitely agree with you. Emmanuel Wilson earned his game ball for today. So, any final thoughts before we kind of wrap up here?
No, I think hopefully the CVS injury report list, receipt list gets a little bit shorter leading up to Thursday night's game or Thursday's game. Hopefully, we perform great against the Lions and come out with a victory. I think today was a good momentum pusher going into the short week and build off of it and come out hitting like a ton of bricks.
For sure. And it's going to be a tough game Thursday no matter what. Uh, you know, like I've said before, divisional games are always more difficult just because even no matter what the records are, they always come out and play each other like they're Super Bowl contenders no matter what. And it hopefully, like you said, I'm hoping, and this is kind of the theory me and Quano have kind of put out there, that they're just listing every ticky-tacky injury just because they don't want to get nailed like the Falcons have, where they didn't report an injury and got nailed with huge monetary loss. So I'm Quano and I are kind of hoping that's why you're seeing such long injury reports. And again, some of the guys were sat today, so hopefully that's more precautionary just to give them a little bit more rest for Thursday's game. So yeah, I think that'll pretty much wrap it up for today, unless, like I said, you got any other final things you want to throw out there. You got any shows coming up with it being a holiday week?
Man, let me check. Hold on. I I have my calendar on my phone, but my phone is what I'm using for the podcast, so I can't check my phone. Um, no, I don't have anything until Sunday, November 30th with Todd Friedel, uh, big Packer fan here in the Oshkosh area. So it's always fun to talk Packers with him and get his opinion on Packers, Bucks, Brewers, Badgers. So it's always a good little mix to get with him. And then after that, I got Goose, Minnesota, Packer fan, on Twitter, Goose MN. I got Chuck Metz coming up. I got Amar Diesel coming up in December. So I got through the end of the year booked. I'm usually going for Saturday nights at 7 o'clock. So yeah, I'm trying to put more shorts out there to get more engagement and ask questions that maybe some people have and see what their comments are, and just kind of try to be more active and push the brand.
Well, since we probably won't have a post game until the following week, should we do the cliche thing and say what we're thankful for this Packers season?
We can.
Go for it. What are you thankful for this Packers team?
That I don't know. I've always thought that defense wins championships, and I think by going out and getting Micah Parsons and getting who we've got in the draft. I mean, maybe some of the guys we got in the draft, won't show out a lot this year, but in the next 2 to 3 years, I think it's going to be a force to be reckoned with, and you guys got to get past that bump to get to the quarterback and pressure him faster and make him make decisions that he might not want to make. But I'm just, I guess, thankful they're giving us a good product on the field to watch. I mean, we've only lost games by a couple of field goals, so I mean, it's not like it's the end of the world's coming. It's we overreact, and that's what fans do, right?
I kind of am thankful of that too a little bit. True North says I'm thankful that Quano is 6 time zones away from me. Yeah, sometimes I feel the same way.
He's still sleeping, isn't he?
No, he's up and about. He's got kids. They don't let him sleep.
Yeah, I know all about that.
If I have to say something I'm thankful for, it's definitely the defensive coach, Jeff Hafley, because he really has turned that defense around from the laughing stock of the NFL to, no joke, legit top-notch defense in the NFL. And really, he has been that defensive group has been the whole reason the Packers have been in the games they've been in. So, you know, although I'm going to say he's a horrible person and he should not be a head coach anywhere in the NFL.
Yeah, he's terrible. He's got to stay in
I'm
Green
hearing
Bay.
I'm hearing some horrible rumors about him. So if any NFL execs watch this post game show, you don't want to hire Jeff Hafley because he'll just ruin your franchise.
On that, so I had a podcast last night with the Sproles on Twitter.
Yeah,
Dave, he's down in the Appleton area. Great guys, great commentary, great knowledge about the Packers history and everything. And he asked me a question. He goes, Brian, I'm gonna ask you a question. He goes, do you think the Packers should revoke the play calling from Matt LaFleur on offense? And I go, well, I mean, to make a long story short, I said we're overjoyed when he's doing really good, but when the play calling is stale and stagnant, we want him to someone else to call the plays. So I think if Ed Policy didn't want LaFleur to call the plays, he would have made that change a while ago. And then he goes, well, what if? Then he goes, well, what if they ended up not retaining LaFleur and having Halfley be the head coach after next year? I'm like,
I've said that for the last
possibility.
couple weeks with the way people have been wanting to fire LaFleur. The only way that they could keep, if they get rid of LaFleur, the only way they could keep Hafley is if they make him the head coach. So you're a little behind on that
Yeah,
conversation.
I know, but it was just
No,
funny
I
that
know. I
he asked me
get it.
that. So
But I think that's all we got. Go over, follow us on all the socials at Ohana_Packers on the Elon Machine. Brian is Cheese Talk _pod over at the Elon Machine. I'm Iowa_Joe86 on the Elon Machine, and I'm IowaJoe.bsk.app on Blue Sky. Ohana Packers Edition on Instagram and Facebook. And then go over, check out the website. I know it's not been kept up to date. We've been struggling getting articles out, but you can go over to the shop. Just click the shop button. That'll take you to our merch store, ohanapackers.org. Go buy you some merch, support us, show your Ohana pride. More ideas coming up every other week. Whenever something happens on with the team, I tend to get ideas on it. Go over, get you some merch. I think that's about all I got to plug. So, as
yeah,
Mike
you
would
can
say,
find. Oh, I
go
was gonna
ahead.
say you can find me on X. The easiest way is to find Cheese Talk _pod. Cheese the spelled with a Z. You go into my profile, look at my Linktree link, click on that, and I have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Everything's on there, and yeah, go Pack go.
And make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you're subscribing to our accounts. That way, you know whenever we do go live or when new episodes do drop. So, like I was saying, as Mike would say, go Pack go and aloha.